Hello miners, and thanks for joining me on the most important knives of 2023. I've decided to break them down in different categories. I already have some videos out, but today's kind of the main day. And the first category we're going to start off with is, in a sense, these are custom designed knives that were outsourced, if you will. So not a custom knife maker, but a custom. These are knives designed by, in this case, this is designed by Garrett. He's out of California. And this is the Bridgeport Knife Company 395 V2. It does come with a nice little case like this and a pouch. And the V2 is the second version. 20 CV blade steel, Civivi OEM. And this is one with a micarta variant. We have titanium pocket clip and a titanium backspacer. We have a hollow ground blade, and this particular one has thumb stud action and a flipper style. So excellent. Ergos are excellent. This one is his marble carbon fiber model with no thumb stud, and these ones cost a little bit more when they were new. You can't order these anymore. I gotta get them on the secondary market. But Garrett has I think it's called an 1857 model that's out. It's a little bit larger like that than this, and it is. He also got a deal with Civivi, and he's doing the Bluff. And it's Civivi's first access lock, but he's a young kid, and I expect great things out of him. And boy, oh boy, this particular model, the action is just sweet, just so sweet. The Civivi action, the blade grind, the steel. When I say semi-custom, he took the design to them, and they really stepped up their game. We have the inset liner locks. Now we'll set these aside for just a second. I got some goodies from Garrett, and part of those goodies include a green micarta handle, so I get swap handles on this. It's more of a neutral to me, but I wanted to bring it out just to show you what it looks like on the inside. I have taken one of my knives apart, and it's laser engraved with all the good stuff on their model number and blade steel, those kinds of things. But take a look at what they do. That's quality work. And when it comes to, you don't have to do any sanding or anything. Amazing milling work, Civivi, and that's why these knives sold for $160 to $200 on the mainstream market, which is one of the reasons, or on his website, and it's one of the reasons that it's not a higher in the list. So along the same lines, bringing up here is the Asher Spiro, and this particular one I do believe is made by Kunwu, a guy named Justin out of Pittsburgh, or at least out of Pennsylvania. Has gone to Kunwu, which we all know as a quality manufacturer, despite them being in China, and they're making his knife. This knife has been released before. It's been done in titanium version. It was done in a silver carbon fiber, and what I mean is there's several Spiros, but this one is a thumb hole, and this is the one that was released here recently. About a $90 knife with S35, and that's not quite, what do you want to call that, 20 CV, but they're still both super steels. So when we take a peek at how those are in the size category. Okay, so these are kind of your best quote-unquote semi-customs. I would rank this one as, man, you might even see it later. It is a EDC. Okay, and this one's going to win that category. This is Colin, I forget his last name, and Lefty, Kevin Johnson. Lefty EDC. This is a Divo Growler. And they went, and in this version, they did the Kubi Growler with shielding knives. So this is the V1. We have this gray micarta. I put on a Kaiser clip here. It's off of a Kaiser knife. It's inset liners. It's a lot like this knife. I did take this apart and I did do some sanding on there just because you saw these little hairs, little fur type thing. It's milled inside, so you have those inset liners, but the overall design is great. The blade steel choice is 14C28N, which is the right choice for me because of the thinness of this. Fantastic knife. Love the design, love the ergos. It's just a win. They had it retailed for about $85 at White Mountain Knives, and you know, they had some quality control issues. A lot of people didn't like the size of this hole, and some people had detent issues. Mine might not be strong. A strong detent, yeah, I guess I'm lucky. But I am so satisfied with the action. I've been playing with it, and I had to take it apart and lube it and stuff. Very comfortable, very carryable, very useful. So that's the winner. We'll call whatever you guys want to call it. The semi-customs, the small batch. Maybe we'll call them the small batch knives. So all of these came out in limited numbers. This one's no longer available. The only one you can get still, about $87, is this one. Go to asherknives.com. By the way, a lot of my choices are based upon this knife. I never did a knife of the year in the past, but this one would have won for 2021, the year it was released. And if you take a peek at what this has done since then, they've made many variants and so on, and it's based in my, you know, we have ones with brass and carbon, marble carbon fiber, Elmax steel, all that kind of stuff. Love the action. Hard to beat the drop on that. Okay, moving on. Well, now let's move to, I think we're going to move to this. This is a Civivi Vision FG. FG stands for field grade, and it's a Snex design knife. Now, I've been doing this for 3 years. I got a Snex Mini Buster as my Grail knife. I love Snex. He's in the process right now of coming up with his second Super Lock knife. It's going straight to production with we and Civivi. So if you can visit him at Instagram, he has some information on that. But this is an important knife. This would be in the category of high-end custom knife makers and innovation. Let's call this the most important knife of the year in terms of innovation. So the Shark Lock, excuse me, not the Shark Lock, Super Lock has actually been around. His first knife was the Vision S for Super Lock, and he made 32 of them. They were titanium. They were M390 at 64 HRC or some crazy thing, running thousands of dollars a piece. They're just so cool. See if you can find one. They have these little lines in there. But anyway, he brought that knife to the Wii Vision R, and then Civivi brought it to the Civivi FG. So that's the field grade. We get micarta and nitro V, and we get a knife you can actually, who's going to use a $10,000 knife and carry that in our pocket? Not most people. But we get the advantage of his new design. It's a Super Lock, which is not a gimmick, it's a real thing. And we get the advantage of a guy who's, I mean, his shop looks like a lab. You guys seriously have to check him out. He's a lot of thought, a lot of research, R&D goes into his knives. And yeah, it's great. The blade shape is awesome for everyday use. The design is awesome for everyday use. And it's just the most important one that I can think of that came out. So that is it. The best EDC? Not quite. We're going to gather a couple more, but we're going to set that aside before we get to those, and we're going to talk about, you guys, if you watched another video, you probably saw some of these knives before. This is the most important value knife of the year, and that's the Bestechman Ronan. And the Bestechman is a brand that just started. It's a budget brand of Bestech, and they have a couple of models out, but I believe this one is the best. And this one is the best because you get 14C 28N blade steel for under 40 bucks with G10 and an axis lock. Amazing, amazing. You get nice ergos, you get a fantastic blade shape, and you actually get pretty good what do I call it, action. So it's a little bit, it's not snappy, right? But it's not, when I close it, it's, you can see right there, you got to whip it. If you don't whip it, you know, it can stop in the open position. But it's a user knife. This is, you want a knife, you want a safe knife, you want a comfortable knife, you want a sharp knife and a useful blade. So this is probably the best, what I'll call value knife, right? This is under 50 bucks. So set that one aside. Now, I think we're gonna go, oh, how can you put this one in above that? Well, it's in a different class. It's separated by the price than that. Okay, and this is more traditional, right? This isn't the axis lock, it's a liner lock. Ray Laconical. So we again have a famous maker bringing putting his name on a knife, bringing his design to a production company. It's not quite the same as we or Civivi, in my opinion. CRJB is just not there. We'll talk about that more later. But I think overall we have fantastic ergos and fantastic blade shape. It's a good carry. You have the position, the flexibility to move up in this position. The weight is nice. The ergos are nice. On my model, the action is still breaking in. Oh, I can't get that done. It just seems like every 3 or 4 times, oh man, boys, that wants to lock up. So I'm going to keep playing with it like this, and one day I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to put some oil in that D10 hole. I'm going to oil the bearings, and hopefully we will have, the action will be where the rest of the knife deserves to be. Now this is over $50, just slightly, and for me it kind of shows. I don't see any lining in here, lightning, you know, milling on the inside. They are inset, but the G10's a little cheap. There's no back spacer. Some of you like that. Has the pocket clip is actually good. I normally go look to replace my pocket clips. I'm not going to do that on this. So this is a runner-up, honorable mention type of a knife. We'll set that aside. And this is Rusty's pick of the year, which surprises me, because when I first got this knife and all the hype that went with it, I was like, meh. But after carrying it and using it, breaking it in, took it apart and worked with it, boy, you know, I knew how to do front flipper before I got this knife, but this knife, this changed knives for me. And what I mean is, it just introduced, it's just, I've never experienced anything like it. Okay, it's comfortable. You know, I like thinner knives, and this one's not exactly the thinnest, but that it's great. I sort of sometimes like a knife that puts you in your place, so to speak, but this allows for, you can move to so many different grips on this. It's like the CRJB Ekko, where you can move here, so very nimble. I thought the blade shape was ugly. I'm like, what, man? Why, you know, this part rounds down and this part blue. But I've come to find that when you go to cut, look at that. It's like, well, most of us like this. Let me just grab something here. You know, we like this belly here and see how that rolls. But this is, it's just different, and it's great. It's great. It's thin, also 14C 28N. Although I would say I would have actually preferred 9CR. Civivi 9CR is not as tough, but it holds an edge better than this. And if you don't believe me, go watch Duty's Daggers and you'll see it doesn't take long for him to go to get this thing so it's not really shaven sharp. So we all like 14C, but anyways, we've gone on long enough. Rusty's knife of the year, Civivi Sokoke, yay. Most important knife of the year, Civivi Vision. Best value knife of the year right here is the Bestechman Ronan, and we're gonna go with the, oh, what do we got here? Best small batch knife, if you will, and that's the Divo Growler. We're going back. They came out with a Growler V2, also that's not available. Check out Growler knives. Based upon what I'm finding, they're great knives. Great knives. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for joining the Miner.